Hello, and greetings from Canada. I'm Dean Iamarino, and I'm the current chair of the Canadian Affairs Council, and I'm coming to you from the home of the 2019 NBA Championship Toronto Raptors. I know our American friends love their basketball, and with Canada only having one NBA team, I'm thinking that maybe we would consider a trade, the championship, for you giving us our Stanley Cup back. Think about it. You may also be thinking, I'm in Canada, and why isn't it snowing? Well, we actually in Canada do have 4 seasons, at least in most of the country, and they're not all winter. Today here in Toronto, it's a beautiful 24 degrees, or for those that need it in Fahrenheit, it's around 76. It's a bright, beautiful day. Not bad, eh? Now, getting back to the Canadian Affairs Council, some of you may not know about the Council or what we do. So today we have a few members from coast to coast talking a little bit about the important work we do with and for WEF. We're going to start on the West Coast with the incoming chair for the CAC in 2021, Kevin Ramsay, out in beautiful British Columbia. Take it away, Kevin.
Hey, it's Kevin Ramsay here from British Columbia. The igloos have melted. It's August 10th and it's looking pretty good here. We've got our hibiscus trees, we've got our bananas, we've got our palms. It's all looking good. Just another day in paradise, swimming pool, hockey stick. Canada's a beautiful place. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you about the Canadian Affairs Council. It's made up of Canadian WEF delegates from our member associations across the country, along with the Canadian Water and Wastewater Association Executive Director. You're going to be hearing from him in a minute. Our mandate is to represent specific Canadian interests with the Water Environment Federation. The CAC, along with the CWWA, collaborate on Canadian government relations, replicating the advocacy work done with WEF in the States. Got to tell you about a great example. COC's advocacy around erecting a wall across Canada to keep COVID-infected Americans out. You know what? We love our friends to the south. However, the terrible COVID record of the U.S. can't be ignored. I'd like now to introduce Dave Galbraith, the past chair of the CAC and one of our most active WEF delegates. Enjoy the sun, folks.
Hi everyone, Dave Galbraith here, the WEF Delegate for the ACWWA in Atlantic Canada. I'm coming to you today from lovely Shediac, New Brunswick, where their main industry is lobster, as you can imagine, and tourism. I've been involved with the WEF for several years now, and the Canadian Affairs Council. I'm the past chair of the CAC. Last year in July, we were invited to go to Toronto to talk with the Board of Trustees to talk about Canadian issues. So we did a presentation, talked about the similarities and differences between our friends and us below the border, and it's surprising how much we do have in common. We're very happy that WEF has made diversity and inclusion a big part of their day-to-day operations. I've been fortunate to attend many WEF MAs over the last few years. Winnipeg, Alaska, Vancouver. We were supposed to go to Hawaii this year, but our COVID friend prevented that. Hopefully in a couple years we'll make it down. Next year in Charlottetown, we're hosting in PEI. So May of 2021, you're welcome to come to Charlottetown for our WEF MAX. I've been very fortunate to actually been the host for a couple WEF VIPs at our annual conferences in Atlantic Canada. You may recognize some of these names. Lynn Broaddus was in Charlottetown, PEI. Jackie Jarrell was in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And last year we had Tom Kunitz, Lisa Royan, and Walt Marlowe in Halifax, Nova Scotia. This message is for Howard Carter. We are the lobster capital of the world. Maine is not. See, right here? Also to Kevin Ramsay out on the British Columbia. You may be on the west coast, but over here, we're on the best coast. I wish I could have been at WEF TAC this year to see you all in person. I really enjoyed catching up and the networking and the working groups and so on. I'm currently the chair of the NGICP Stormwater Working Group and a member of the Nominations Committee. Hopefully I'll get to see you all next year at WEF TAC in Chicago. Well, it's time for me to go. I'm just checking the temperature. It's 24 degrees. It's supposed to snow. Actually, just kidding. To all of our American friends, that's 80 degrees Fahrenheit. see you all from the Great White North. Oh yeah, and by the way, we invented hockey here in Nova Scotia, just so that you know. Have a good day.
Hello, I'm Robert Haller. I'm the Executive Director of the Canadian Water and Wastewater Association. I was asked to make this little video for our American friends, let them know a little bit about what's going on here in Canada. I was told this might help get rid of some misconceptions, but someone else said Americans have no conceptions of Canada. So I'm going to show you a bit of what my life is like here in Canada, and at the same time tell you about the water and wastewater sector. Come on. So I'll tell you a bit about CWWA, the Canadian Water and Wastewater Association. So we are the national association for the municipal water and wastewater sector in Canada. In Canada, most water and wastewater legislation, of course, is at the provincial or territorial level. So there's an association in each of those provinces. They've gathered together to form 5 member associations of WEF and 5 sections of ACWWA. Each of those has a Canadian Affairs Committee, and I serve with those WEF MAs on the Canadian Affairs Committee and try to provide that advice to them at a national level. WEF actually gives us funding here. Whatever WEF is doing for you in Washington, D.C., I'm doing for you here in Ottawa. So that's the Parliament buildings where our Parliament meets. It's under construction right now and they're meeting over there, but that's another story. Our main goal is to represent our sector at a national level. Well, like I said, a lot of the legislation is provincial, but there's a lot of federal leadership, including drinking water guidelines, regulations on wastewater, and most importantly, a lot of the infrastructure money, the funds that we're all needing these days. The current government announced over $100 billion in infrastructure, which was exciting, with $20 billion earmarked just for water and wastewater and green infrastructure. We're excited to be part of that project. Right now we're in discussions, of course, around COVID-19 and any stimulus funding we're going to need. This is Terry Fox, the greatest Canadian ever. He tried to run across Canada with just one leg, raising money for cancer. He made it halfway before he was forced to stop, but he is our #1 hero in Canada. In behind there is the Prime Minister's office. I don't get to talk to him too much, but we work with all of the federal people. Our offices are just about 10 kilometers that way. That's about 8,000 miles, I believe, in U.S. measurement. Now, we're not far down the road. A small team of 4. We contract out a lot of our work for publications and events, but most of our work is coordinating 7 volunteer committees with hundreds of volunteers representing thousands of water professionals in Canada. Very proud to be here. Let's talk about drinking water. I told you how each province and territory is responsible for its own legislation, but the federal government does provide a lot of leadership, most especially the Canadian drinking water guidelines that are developed with those provinces and territories. After a guideline's developed, every province ends up adopting that in some form or another. Our role is to get involved early. We are providing comments when they're changing the legislation or the guidelines on lead or manganese, aluminum, whatever the topic is at Health Canada. We're there providing comment, and then we help our members understand the new legislation. Canadians think we have an abundance of water, but that's not true. In a lot of Canada, we're seeing more and more scarcity. Climate change is probably the #1 issue that we're facing in Canada and of course around the world. We're dealing with not just scarcity issues in our water resources, but also quality issues and how that affects our treatment. Then of course there's the storms. The storms that are unpredictable, that are hitting each of our communities. So we've been part of a national flood risk roundtable that is now broken into 2 working groups. One is working on our floodplain mapping all across Canada to improve our situation on the fluvial flooding and our coastline flooding. But we need to do more work on our urban pluvial storms. We're also working on a group that is dealing with the financial aspect of these floods, working with the Insurance Bureau of Canada on new insurance concepts that would make sure all Canadians are covered. Then there's the energy question, and the more we waste in our water, if we're not into water reuse, we're losing energy. So those that aren't worried about scarcity should be worried about energy. So the more we can reduce our consumption, reuse our water, the better we're affecting our energy use and our impact on the planet. Hey, it's time to talk about wastewater. Now in Canada, one of the few pieces of federal legislation that is enforceable across the country is our wastewater systems effluent regulations, WSER they're known as. It really falls more under the Fisheries Act, but it's enforced by Environment and Climate Change Canada. CWWA was involved very early in that, trying to work with the federal government on what would fall under that regulation, and we're trying to start a new review of that at this time. Now, give me a second while I just step in here for a second. Oh, look at that. It's Barry Orr. Barry Orr is sort of a Canadian hero, better known as Captain Fog. He just won WEF's Collection Systems Award, and we're very proud of him here in Canada. Barry has been leading research at Ryerson University, testing products and trying to set an international standard for what is flushable and what we put down the toilet. Barry has been one of the instrumental leaders in creating an international coalition on flushability and trying to determine what that word means, when you can use that word, what kind of labeling you'll put on the product. So we're very, very proud of Barry and proud to be part of that work. Oh, look at this. You like my shirt? The world is coming to Toronto in 2022. The IWA World Water Congress and Exhibition will be in Toronto, August 2022. We're very proud to host. I know that WEF and ACWWA are coming on board to help us out as well. And we're going to be welcoming the whole world to North America. So I'll see you there. Hey, so a lot of our work at CWWA is focused at utility leaders. Our Utility Leadership Committee is just beginning work on workforce development. Last year we put out a position paper on sustainable utilities, and now we're working on a major report on how to get you to that utility, sustainable utility. Big part of that, of course, is dealing with the public and how we communicate with the public. And that takes us into the whole issue of value of water. We've been the Canadian sector of that Value of Water Coalition, working with WEF, helping to put out that message to all of North America and especially here in Canada. We have our own program we've been promoting called Blue W. If you look at bluew.org, it really promotes tap water, the safety of tap water, and celebrates the people that create that tap water. Another big sector we're working in is security, and all those in the security sector, looking at both physical and cybersecurity to make sure that our systems in Canada are safe. Got to get some more wood. This is a good spot to probably bunker down from COVID-19 this winter. If it's coming back, that's all we're talking about, of course, for months. Crazy days. Well, we've got a couple of roles here at CWWA. A big one is speaking for our sector and making sure that water and wastewater workers are recognized as frontline workers, that we're getting the PPE that we need, that we're getting the extra support that all the other frontline workers are getting. And honestly, in Canada, I think we're being treated very well. We're reaching out to the public with a number of press releases on the safety of your tap water, of course, what not to flush. This is the worst time to clog up your home and mess up your house when you want to be home safe. So we've been putting out a lot of information about keeping your home system safe. Then, of course, we're trying to get information out there on the reopening of buildings. After a building's been closed for a while and the water's been sitting stagnant, it's time to open it up safely. So we wrote national guidance on how to reopen a building. Thanks a lot to everyone part of that team. Then we're here to support our members. We want everyone to know that we were relevant during this period and a good resource for our members. So if you go to our website, we've got a lot of COVID-19 resources there. We've been supporting a lot of work around pandemic plans. You'll find those there, connecting you to all the information from WEF, ACWWA, IWA, and many other spots. We've also been part of a coalition on wastewater research, trying to see how our monitoring of the wastewater systems can serve health units in better tracking COVID as it moves forward. But thanks, I'm getting inside, it's getting cold. Woo! So what have I got left to tell you about? Of course, there's a website, www.CWWA.ca. We put a magazine out twice a year. We put a bulletin out every month, and you can read the water hauler there. Everybody loves the water hauler. Then, of course, we've got our events. Every June, we do the Window on Ottawa. It's like your fly-in. Then we've got our National Water and Wastewater Conference every November. Oh, did I mention? We're hosting the World in 2022. That's right, the IWA is coming to Toronto in 2022. That's it. I got to get on the ice. Keep your stick on the ice. Well, to wrap up the video, I want you to meet the videographer, my daughter, Maggie. You've already met my dog, Rascal. We're right here at the St. Lawrence River, and that's Ogdensburg, New York, in the background, all of you WEF friends of ours. We just came out of the river after 81 days straight swimming in a river or a lake. That's the St. Lawrence, Lake Ontario.
We're going to the Bonashare, Rideau.
Queol River,
Ottawa
Mississippi River, Rideau River, yeah.
Yep.
So we're doing really well. Hey, it was a lot of fun making the video, and thanks to my friends at WEF. Bye.
We're now going to sign off from Canada, and we want to thank you for joining us and learning a little bit about what we do. We hope you enjoy connecting with us from your place to our space, and continue to do so through this immersive and virtual event over the next 5 days that's bringing thousands of water professionals together. Thank you, and stay healthy.